The suspect in Nipsey Hussle's murder is in custody tonight. We'll hear from the LA police chief on the investigation.
USC Provost Michael Quick is stepping down from his post, and he's not the only administrator who's leaving his job.
And musical icon Marvin Gaye is getting a special recognition on what would have been his 80th birthday. We'll see how the U.S. Postal Service is honoring his life.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Actress Lori Loughlin and 15 other parents face an additional charge in the growing college admissions scandal known as Operation Varsity Blues. Good evening, I'm Cecil Hannibal.
And I'm Noel Medina. Loughlin is now accused of money laundering in addition to paying $500,000 to get her daughters into USC. Now, she and her husband appeared in federal court last week, but have not yet said how they're going to plea. The additional charges come just one day after actress Felicity Huffman pled guilty, and now the U.S. government is putting the pressure on Loughlin to do the same. Here's a breakdown of the mounting legal trouble Loughlin faces. Last month, she was charged with conspiring to commit fraud for allegedly paying, again, $500,000 to get her two daughters into USC. And today, new charges of conspiring to launder bribes and transferring money into the United States to promote fraud. A lawyer we spoke to explains how he thinks the case will go from here.
The defendants will need to plead to these new charges in court and either plead guilty or not guilty, and I assume they will plead not guilty. And after that, the case can proceed towards trial, which still may be quite far away. And during the time of trial preparations, I'm sure that both sides, the prosecution and the defense, will discuss potential options, potential plea deals, and we will see whether both sides can come to an agreement.
He says the additional charge will affect Loughlin's potential sentence and could significantly increase the time in prison she may be facing.
The death toll in Sri Lanka rose to 310, with at least 500 people injured in the suicide bombing at 3 churches and 3 hotels on Easter Sunday. Investigators have not determined who was responsible for the coordinated attacks. ISIS claims responsibility but offers no evidence. Sri Lankan authorities have arrested 45 people in connection with the attacks. The priest who presided over the Easter service described the terrifying moment.
There were children, there were women, and all close by, and all were blown off almost. So we have hundreds and more than 100 people who were killed on the spot.
Authorities continue to search for more victims while Sri Lankans mourn their fellow citizens. Flags on government buildings are flying at half-staff.
Professor Levesque, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you coming on to talk sort of about the breakdown of the conversation surrounding Jussie Smollett.
Happy to do it. So if we look at Twitter, the conversation really took off in January when the incident first occurred, and it's continued since then. Since January, we have almost 7.7 million tweets have been posted on the actor. If we dive into it and we look at what the reaction is, we saw it initially very positive, very supportive of the actor and what took place. And then it went to negative, and today we're seeing a tremendous amount of negativity also. But it's less about the actor today and more about the charges being dropped is what the negativity today is. And if we go and look at the emotional context of it, what were people feeling when they were posting on it? It really started off with joy, which was very supportive of the actor and the plight that he went through. And then with the arrest, it just radically changed to where it's now overwhelmingly sadness and disgust. And we see disgust today to being one of the highest emotions that's going on.
And that's this sort of teal color here.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
And the disgust is not about the actor today. The disgust is about the charges being dropped.
A tent city set up at the USC entrance on Jefferson and Hoover. The tents have been up for 4 days now, and the organizers are calling for more accountability from the USC administration on the effects that the university has on its surrounding communities. So they've been addressing issues such as gentrification, affordable housing, campus safety, and accessibility for low-income students. So earlier today, the tent city organizers actually held a protest that went throughout campus. We got footage from the event, so let's take a look. A group of students and South LA residents marched today on campus from the Bovard administration offices down Truesdale and back to the tent city set up at the Jefferson and Hoover campus entrance. The protesters chanted and held signs calling for USC accountability. They called for USC to be for everyone, not just the few who can afford the rising prices.
This community has been here for, decades before us, generations before us. They are the true lifeblood of this city. And it's completely unfair to think that we can come and impose our financial needs, our student needs, academic needs even, on the greater needs of the community that depends on this area to live. So just hear them out. Give them a seat at the table, make sure that they're involved in the decision-making processes, because even that just makes a world of difference.
So we reached out to USC Media Relations, but they have not yet responded to our request for comment. But I talked to Joe Delgado, one of the community leaders and the organizers of Tent City, and I asked him how long he thought the tents would be up for. He responded, as long as it takes. Back to you guys at the desk.
And 3 more people have come forward claiming they were sexually assaulted by fake Uber drivers outside of nightclubs in downtown LA and Hollywood. So far, 9 people have filed a lawsuit in Los Angeles Superior Court. Welcome back, everyone, to another segment of Tuesday's Tea, where we're bringing you the latest entertainment news.
That's right, and the tea is steaming hot as usual with some big celebrity news you don't want to miss.
That's right, we're kicking it off with Beyonce. She's got the Beehive buzzing again. Her Lemonade album is officially available on all streaming platforms 3 years after its release.
Officials in New Zealand are taking steps to prevent the gunman blamed for Friday's mass shooting from becoming famous.
Our political anchor, Sophia Hausch, has more on the country's response in the aftermath of the attack. Sophia?
The Prime Minister of New Zealand vowed to not use the name of the gunman who killed 50 people at 2 mosques on Friday. This is to deny the shooter any notoriety he sought from the attack. The gunman live-streamed 17 minutes of the shooting on Facebook and published a manifesto beforehand. Experts say it is common for this type of criminal to crave attention.
The idea that there's a dimension of this kind of act that's just about being famous, being known, being recognized, being talked about, I think is really a long-lived tradition. I mean, to take away the possibility of recognition, I think, might be an interesting move.
Brody added that while the Prime Minister's decision may prevent such attacks in New Zealand, it would be even more difficult to change the infamy of mass shooters in the U.S., where the crime is far more common.
Welcome back, everyone. This week we are ending the show with a segment called What's Trendy, where we bring you the latest on what's trending on Twitter. Yep. Let's take a look.
Let's take a look at some of these tweets. Regarding the hashtag Smollett case, Chicago doesn't have a 2-tiered justice system. It's a multi-tiered. It's no secret. It's a cesspool of corruption right out in the open. Wow, really strong language there. The real shock here isn't that the charges were dropped for a price, but that they were brought at all.
Well, let me just say, there's 2 sides to the internet. I'll show you mine. We have R. Kelly, and it says, I hear y'all dropping cases in Chicago.
So bad.
The internet needs to chill. They need to chill out. It's too soon.
Chicago has just been through it this week.
It's been a rough week, rough year.
It's been a rough winter.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Cecil Hannibal.
And I'm Noel Medina. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Good night. This is a good one though, Cecil. I like that you picked it.